Hello, and welcome to this Inkscape tutorial, Intro to Vector System. In this video, we will examine the basic difference between vector and raster graphics. Additionally, we will look at some of the basic design elements of Inkscape in order to orient you to the program. To start, let's examine the difference between a raster graphic and a vector graphic. A raster graphic is composed of dots. These dots are grouped close together in varying blocks of color in order to form an image. For instance, if you were to zoom in on a digital photo, it would become pixelated and grainy. On the other hand, a vector graphic is composed of lines based on mathematical expression. This means that you can zoom in infinitely and the vector graphic will remain crisp and clear. Vector and raster graphics complement one another, but are handled differently. It is possible to convert and work with raster graphics in Inkscape, but that is beyond the depth of this video. If you are unfamiliar with Inkscape, it is a free, open-sourced vector graphic system. You may download a copy of Inkscape from inkscape.org. Once you have obtained a copy of Inkscape, the first step in starting a project is to set the proper dimensions of the page. To do this, open the application, and this should be the screen that you see. You'll go up here to File, and down to Document Properties. From there, a selection box will pop up with several different options. You'll notice that Inkscape's default document size is A4. For the purpose of this video, we're going to go ahead and change that to US letter, which is 8.5 by 11 inches. Now we're also going to change the default units of this document from pixels to inches. You'll note that the ruler along the top and along the left side of our canvas have changed appropriately. Now we're going to briefly touch on some of the tools here along the left toolbar. This first arrow button up here is the selector tool. You'll use this button to switch between objects, move them around, etc. The next button is your node editor. As I mentioned before, Inkscape is a vector system that designs via lines. In order to achieve this, you have to have fixed points of reference. These points are called nodes. This little wave here is a handy tool that helps you alter an object's shape in some pretty nifty ways. But it's so complex that that's a whole nother how-to video all by itself. The magnifying glass works as expected and helps zoom in and out. The ruler also works as expected and measures the distance between 2 points. Now the next 5 buttons are used for forming a variety of shapes. Just select the tool, click, hold, and drag out your shape. You can always alter the dimension and placement of the shape after it's formed, so don't worry about getting it perfect on the first try. So over here we have a square, a cube, a circle, a star and pentagon shape. Is your star. If you go up here to the top toolbar, you can switch it over to pentagon. And if you happen to need a triangle, you would just decrease the number of corners to 3, and there you have a triangle. This next one is important over here because it helps you draw either straight lines or curves. So if you want a straight line, you just click it out. If you want a curve, you draw it out, like so. Up next is the calligraphy tool, which looks like this fountain pen right here, and that just draws you out a chiseled edge. So we're going to leave that right there to use here in a second. This giant A over here is going to be your text tool. Alright, our next tool is kind of a fun one. This is the spray can over here. And to use this one, you have to have an object selected on your screen. So you'll have to go into your selector tool and click on an object, and then you'll come down here and click on the spray can, and you'll just click and hold. See? You get the same object duplicated over and over. This little rectangle under the spray can is the eraser tool. It doesn't really work as you would expect it to. It works pretty well on solid objects. It removes whatever you happen to drag across it, but when working with lines, it will not break a line because, as we talked about before, this is a vector system, and vector systems work on mathematical expression. So if you want to know more about how the eraser tool works, go to my video, Inkscape tutorial, lines, and images. Our last two buttons on the toolbar deal with filling and gradients. Now if you come over here and take this little paint can and click on a color, and then click inside your object, it fills it for you. Once you have an object filled, you can come over here and click on the gradient, and then drag it back and forth across your object. You can go side to side, you can go up to down, from corner to corner, basically any way you want. Alright, that concludes our tutorial of Inkscape as a vector system and covering some of the basic elements. If you want to know more about some of Inkscape's features, be sure to check out my next video, Inkscape tutorial, lines, and images. Thank you very much for watching this, and have a wonderful day.
This video is brought to you by the Professional Writing Club. For more information, follow us on Twitter at PWClub at UAB and like us on Facebook at Professional Writing Club at UAB.